Welcome back to our next podcast on cue card making. Turn on auto caption for better experience.
I remember a time in my life when I was incredibly busy. It was during my last year of college, and I had taken on way too many responsibilities. I was working part-time at a local coffee shop, volunteering for a community organization, and taking a full load of classes. On top of that, I was also involved in several extracurricular activities on campus. At first, I thought I could handle it all. I had always been good at juggling multiple tasks, and I was determined to make the most of my college experience. But as the weeks went on, I found myself feeling increasingly overwhelmed. My days were a blur of activity. I would wake up early in the morning to get to work, spend several hours on campus attending classes and meetings, and then rush off to my volunteer commitments in the evening. By the time I got home, it was already late, and I still had a pile of homework and studying to do. I was constantly tired and stressed out. I would try to fit in some exercise or socializing, but I just didn't have the energy for it. My grades started to suffer, and I was constantly worried that I was letting everyone down. It wasn't until I hit a breaking point that I realized I needed to make some changes. I had been staying up all night to finish a paper, and I was so exhausted that I fell asleep during a meeting for one of my extracurricular groups. When I woke up, I realized that I had missed something important, and I felt like a failure. That's when I knew I needed to prioritize my time and start saying no to some things. I talked to my boss at the coffee shop and reduced my hours, and I stepped down from a leadership position in one of my extracurricular groups. I also made a conscious effort to schedule in some downtime, whether it was taking a walk or meeting up with friends for a movie night. It wasn't easy to make these changes, but they were necessary. Gradually, I started to feel more balanced and less stressed out. My grades improved, and I was able to enjoy my remaining time in college without constantly feeling like I was running on empty. Looking back on that busy time in my life, I realized that I learned a lot from it. I learned that it's important to prioritize self-care and not take on too much at once. I also learned that it's okay to ask for help and to say no when necessary. And most of all, I learned that it's possible to find a balance even in the midst of chaos.
Thank you for listening to our education podcast. As we wrap up this episode, we want to take a moment to express our gratitude for all of our listeners. We hope that our podcast has been a valuable resource for you in your educational journey and that it has provided you with insights, inspiration, and knowledge that you can apply in your life, and we look forward to sharing more insights with you in our next episode.